And I'd like to actually point out that I think one of the main points of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically, and why I got involved, is to unbank the banked. The entire point is to make it so that we don't need bank accounts anymore. So let's unbank the banked.
This is the first stage, denial, right? And denial happens with all innovative technologies. It's that desire to dismiss change, especially if that change is strange and scary. We were talking about banks recently and the media, and what we're seeing now is they've moved from denial to anger. So angry about the terrible things you can do, right? Because Bitcoin is all about, now it's all about funding ISIS, right? So who here has contributed to ISIS recently? Okay. Sorry, I raised my hand there because, you see, I pay taxes in the United States. And I don't know if you've noticed, but ISIS is driving M1A Abrams tanks and Humvees with the American flags hastily sprayed off. So, strictly speaking, yes, I have funded ISIS through the US Department of Defense in US dollars by leaving behind a lot of nice equipment and pallets of dollars and things like that. And when I fill up my car and that money goes to Saudi Arabia, I also fund ISIS that way, so oops. But I'll tell you this, I've never funded ISIS in Bitcoin. So let's keep that straight.
How much of a threat blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are to their business model?
You know, first with respect to asking a banker about whether they like Bitcoin or not, that's kind of like asking a king, do you like democracy?
It's funny because it's true.
Bitcoin is extremely disruptive in a way that we haven't yet realized. And even the people who are into Bitcoin don't really understand what's going on here. Let's look back a few years. Do you remember the dawn of MP3? I actually heard about MP3 about 2 years before Napster came out, when it was an obscure protocol from the Fraunhofer Institute in Germany. And they designed this lossy compression algorithm that was really effective. And I didn't get it. I didn't see that this was going to do anything. But gradually it started eating away at the music industry, and then with the invention of Napster, it turned every computer into a desktop music station, and suddenly the music industry was threatened. And so they fought Napster, and Napster turned into Kazaa, and they fought Kazaa, and Kazaa turned into LimeWire, and they fought LimeWire, and LimeWire turned into GNU-Tel, and they fought GNU-Tel, and they got BitTorrent, and then they gave up because they couldn't fight it anymore because it was decentralized. Bitcoin started that way. Bitcoin started where BitTorrent left off, in the you can't squash this mode. MP3 destabilized the music industry. What's the music industry? $100 billion? Peanuts! Peanuts! Apple swallowed it in a couple of years, right? When Bitcoin starts disrupting the banking industry, it's going to start applying something that in technology we call disintermediation. Disintermediation is when an industry you painstakingly built over 100 years becomes obsolete overnight. Disintermediation is when you and I want to do something, and there's someone who helps us do that thing, and suddenly we don't need them anymore. Now, when you do disintermediation in the music industry, it cuts the record labels out of the sweet deals, and it allows customers to work directly with artists. It allows artists to publish their music directly. And the record companies don't like that. But it's a little industry. When we start disintermediating the financial services industry, entire layers, which are currently multi-billion-dollar industries, are going to evaporate overnight. Bitcoin is incredibly disruptive, and it's disruptive because of all of those little things that they pretend are not really important.
So what's the difference between Bitcoin and NASA?
What?
Bitcoin's going to the moon. Why doesn't the government embrace Bitcoin?
Too transparent.
Right, they hate the idea of proof of work.
Oh. How do you stop banks from screwing people out of money?
You hype it up.
Block them.
Why won't the Icelandic government embrace Bitcoin?
They don't know how to read?
Nah, they just don't trust anything they can't freeze.
When we look at the history of innovation, that history is whitewashed. It's simplified, it's summarized in a nice rosy picture of success where all of the bad things are completely ignored. Look at the history of the automobile. Look at the history of electricity. Look at the history of the internet. And what do you see? Heroes of industry come forward with a great new innovation. The world welcomes them with open arms, celebrates them, raises them up to new heights, and we all continue with this wonderful new invention. And that history is bullcrap, because that's not what actually happened. Here's what actually happened. When the first automobile came out, people had horses, and the automobile was not an improvement over a horse. There were no roads, there was no infrastructure, you couldn't get gasoline anywhere. The only people involved in automobiles were these weirdos who were portrayed by the media as effete, rich elitists who had time on their hands to play around with these disgustingly smelly, dangerous machines that had no practical purpose. And they were made fun of because you couldn't get anywhere with a car because there were no roads, and it would break down every 2 miles, and it was horribly inefficient, and it was dangerous. So what did the media do? They wrote about these infernal machines that would certainly kill you if they came to your town. The British in 1896 passed the Red Flag Act. The Red Flag Act required that any one of these new automobiles was operated by a crew of 3, a pilot, an engineer, and a flagman. The pilot and engineer had to manage the machine so it didn't explode and kill everyone around it, while the flagman had to run ahead of the car 100 yards ahead of it, waving a red flag to warn pedestrians that one of these infernal death machines was coming their way. This, of course, effectively slowed cars down to the speed of a running pedestrian, thereby ensuring that Britain lost the race to develop an automotive industry, and the US won. When electricity was first popularized, Edison and Tesla went at war against each other, abusing the patent and copyright systems to try to destroy each other's industry. They went as far as executing an elephant to show the dangers of AC power. Edison did that. Meanwhile, what did the media do? They wrote about the fact that the Paris exhibition would have been the last time we ever saw electricity used, because once the Paris exhibition was taken down, the world would return to the reliable source of heat and energy, paraffin. They said that only effete, elitist, rich people would spend the money to electrify their homes, which involved ripping out the walls and putting wires in them. And the sole purpose of putting these wires in the walls would be to surely burn your house down. And then they proceeded to run article after article about every house that's burned down because of an accident with electricity, whether it really was an accident in electricity or not. Horrible stories of people being electrocuted. That was the media perception. That was how they addressed this. They didn't go out and say, Edison, this is the most amazing thing you've given humanity. It will change the world forever. We will change our sleeping habits, our manufacturing habits. It will lead a new wave of industrialization. You will bring millions out of poverty. No, they said, you crazy kook, you're going to burn all our houses down. So, welcome. We're all crazy. We look at Bitcoin and we don't see a weird, crazy Ponzi scheme. We see possibility. We see vision. We see something that can improve the lives of potentially billions of people. Maybe not Bitcoin itself, but certainly the blockchain technology. We see the possibility of moving away from the state because we don't think the state adds anything to currency. It only destroys things with currency. And so, be comfortable in that position. Be comfortable in the position of the ridiculed, of the outsider, of the weirdo, of the tinkerer, who sees in technology that which others do not see.